What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's a very special edition of the Countdown to the Geekcast because Marvel Studios has hijacked the internet. They have taken over every single social media app. They've taken over YouTube. There's millions upon millions of people all watching the longest casting announcement video known to man. My name is Ted, aka Steady. Joining me on this wild day is one and only David Lozano. What's going on, Dave?
Just riding the Rainbow Bridge here with you, Ted.
This is absolutely insane, and we're going to stay up to date as long as we physically can with everything. In case you missed it, biggest news of the day, Sir Patrick Stewart is returning to the MCU as Charles Xavier Professor X. David, your thoughts about Sir Patrick Stewart, who, let's be honest, we weren't sure because of his age if he would be in any film, let alone a Marvel project. He will be in Avengers Doomsday. Your thoughts, sir?
It is just wild to me how they've taken the 20th Century Fox X-Men and pretty much seamlessly kind of integrated them into the MCU. Of course, they have the multiversal aspect that they can pull in from other dimensions, other universes. Of course, it's the Fox universe. They made the Kelsey Grammer announcement too. Of course, he's going to play Beast, and we saw him at the end of the credits for the Marvels. It's an incredible thing, man, because we all see Patrick Stewart as Professor X, and I think the big, great, grand assumption here is that once these two Avengers movies takes place, Doomsday and Secret Wars, there's going to be maybe like a reset of sorts, but it's fantastic that they're going to bring in Patrick Stewart. We're hoping they bring in Hugh Jackman to his Wolverine. That's kind of another kind of just assumption, along with Kelsey Grammer as Beast. I think it's terrific. The day they bought, Disney acquired the rights to 20th Century Fox for like $73 billion or whatever. That meant they got to use the X-Men. That was like one of the happiest days because I was like, okay, it's set, it's done. We're gonna get the X-Men in the MCU. They're back home along with Spider-Man with a agreement with Sony. I never expected them to bring in the 20th Century Fox X-Men. That's just the crazy thing to me. It's along the lines of Sony doing the whole bringing in Toby and Andrew Garfield. It's like, I did not expect for them to do that. It didn't feel like it would work, but they're making it work. I believe in Kevin Feige. He knows what he's doing. He worked on some of the X-Men films for 20th Century Fox, and he got a little close with Hugh Jackman. And of course, he knew Patrick Stewart, and he's just still authoring the movies of our childhood dreams here. So I'm excited. It feels like everyone's going to be in Doomsday. I think we all kind of assumed everyone was going to be in Secret Wars, but it feels like a lot of people are going to be in Doomsday, which is terrific. I'll take it. So I'm super excited. I think everyone else is going to be. But how much are all these actors going to be in Doomsday now? And how powerful is Dr. Doom going to be, requiring all these heroes to take them on? It's like, oh my God. And of course, we got the leaked concept art with maybe like God Emperor Doom. So, I mean, he's essentially like a god. So, yeah, I mean, it kind of requires all these heroes to take them on. But I feel like it's going to be a great end to what a lot of people consider as like a lackluster phase of the multiversal chapter for the MCU. But I'm all here for it. Huge names, huge characters. I'm even more hyped now. So I can't. So we're live right now. They're doing the announcement right now. I can't wait to see who else they announce. Maybe it's gonna be, Hugh Jackman at the end. Maybe like a bombshell, like maybe Tom Cruise. I don't know.
That's something that I felt this needed to have, was some big revelation at the end, because when this first started, like an hour and a half into it, it was sort of like, don't know if this is going to work out exactly how you guys intended. Mm-hmm. But I will say we are now sort of in this phase of this announcement where The names that are being dropped are unexpected. This was the first one. I take it back. I would say Tom Hiddleston was the first one that was a big surprise. People might say Kelsey Grammer. I'll say, listen, we have already seen him established in the MCU, not in a film in an end credit scene. So I'm not over the moon for Kelsey, but I do love the announcement. Tom was the first one where it's like, okay, that was a surprise. Some people might say, no, that's what fans always thought. But no, I'm going to say we don't know in what capacity any of these actors are going to be in this film. And Tom was the big surprise. Patrick Stewart, that's completely also a surprise. And I, at some point going into this, was hoping we would get somebody who's not even on the radar. You mentioned a guy like Tom Cruise. I would say somebody like, oh, we're getting a cue.
Oh,
Oh,
hell
hell
yeah.
yeah. Oh my God. Holy cow.
You're going to
You're
need
going to need
Magneto,
Magneto,
man.
man. This is amazing. Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, uh, Professor X, Magneto together once again. They're going to be in Avengers Doomsday. In what capacity? Your guess is as good as mine. I do not know what this movie's going to be. And even if you read the comics, Civil War wasn't like Civil War. Infinity War wasn't like the Infinity Saga from the comics. There's elements that are inspired by it, and some elements are pulled from it. But this could be any number of things, and this is pretty spectacular. Yeah, you mentioned bringing in the X Men from the Fox universe now into the MCU. It's always been up for debate, right? I feel like this is just where they landed, but this wasn't always the plan. Recasting the X Men, I felt like was always going to be where they kind of ended up. But here we are, bringing in so far three legacy X Men characters into the MCU, and I feel like all the fans were are stoked about this information. Do we get James Marsden? Do we get Halle Berry? Hugh Jackman, I feel like we're gonna, if we don't see a Hugh Jackman chair in this, it's because they're saving him for Secret War. That's just my thought. But I still would like to see a name that's not in any sort of list or legacy character. If we get a name drop, like I can't even think of a name right now, just because they've already covered so much ground in Hollywood. But just somebody, Keanu Reeves. If you see a chair that says Keanu Reeves on here, then I feel like that's gonna blow the whole lid off this thing. Who's he playing? How can he be in Avengers Doomsday? That would be the most exciting thing. A name is completely out of left field, and that fans do not expect. But if you're watching right now, what has been your favorite announcement, casting announcement for Avengers Doomsday so far? I also, who do we have left? We know RDJ, and I have a theory about this. We know we have RDJ in this movie. He's going to be introduced in the Fantastic Four, so we're expecting Tom Holland's chair to also be in this announcement video. Dave, who else do you foresee being Pedro Pascal? Pedro's the only Fantastic Four character we do not have
Hmm.
Mhm. announced so far. We got to have him. Who else do you foresee will be announced?
I
I
think the
think the
great
great
belief is
belief
that
is
we're
that
going
we're
to get
going to
all
get all
three
three
Spider-Men
Spider-Men
at some
at some
point.
point.
Maybe not
Maybe
in
not in
Doomsday,
Doomsday,
maybe in
maybe in
Secret
Secret
Wars.
Wars.
Because
Because
Secret
Secret
Wars, we're
Wars,
kind
we're
of
kind of
expecting the
expecting the
whole
whole
Battle
battle
World
world
story to
story to
take
take
place.
place. This movie is absolutely huge. And of course, I think we all anticipated it to be. You had to bring back the the team that stuck the landing on Infinity War and Endgame. It wasn't just the Russo brothers, but it was also the writing team of Christopher Marcus
Marcus
and
McFeely, yeah.
Stephen McFeely. Those two guys are the mad scientists. It's sort of like you can't have one without the other. You cannot have the Russo brothers able to manage a project on the scale of Infinity War, and also you don't have the writing team putting together the only story that would have worked, in my opinion, for the MCU and wrapping up the Infinity Saga. So I feel like we need to give credit to both equal parts, not just the directing team, but the writing team as well. And you're bringing those guys back for Avengers Doomsday. I think it's necessary.
Yeah,
You
because they've been
need
to the ringer before. They know how to handle all these major stars. I don't know how they did it, but hey, Infinity War, all-time great, and Game, all-time great. So they
it's
know how
all
to do
about
it.
cracking the story. It's all about writing something worthy enough that the fans will all appreciate the level of effort that goes into it. You know what I mean? You have to craft a story so complex and so grandiose that it calls for these 30 individuals, I don't know how many we've gone through so far, 20 or so, to come together. And this writing team is the only team that can pull this off. I firmly believe that. So major ADHD in these guys' heads, because you are balancing so much in this story, in this plot. There's so much you have to execute. There's so much you have to deliver on. I do not envy trying to even begin to complete a story of that scale in anything. So yeah, it's exciting.
I just go back to myself in the 90s writing the school bus home from school, talking to all my friends. In this moment right here, you're going to get a live action film with Magneto, Professor X, Namor, Doctor Doom, the Fantastic Four. This is like the stuff of dreams right here. I mean, it's incredible.
I have a theory because we know the Russos. We've been lucky enough to chat with one of them before. Nothing is done without intent. Nothing is done without um, executing on the potential. Directors' chairs or casting chairs is a nice touch, but when you get down to the end, I would love to see, instead of a chair, I would love to see something, a perfect end to this announcement. Which, if you ask me, what does it need to be? I would say not another chair. Let's get to Robert Downey. If we get to Robert Downey, I don't want to see a chair. If we see a throne for Doomsday, that would be epic. What's even better than that? Show us Robert Downey in his outfit. And you have to do it soon because you want to control the narrative. The narrative being Fantastic Four is coming out this summer. We will see Doomsday for the first time. And if you do not want a set photo or a concept art of Robert Downey and Doomsday's look out on the internet sometime between now and the release of Fantastic Four, the first steps, you need to release that yourself. You need to control when that comes out. I want them to show us Doom, Victor Von Doom, by the end of this video. that would be perfect. You need to release it on your own terms before somebody else does. And we've already seen leaks from other concept art from Doomsday. But when you get down to Robert Downey, don't show us a chair with his name. You show us his throne. You show us his mask. You show us, you show him in his attire, his wardrobe for the film. I think that would also be pretty incredible. Give
That'd
us
be great.
oh,
Also, another way you can do it is, I know if you watch like football or basketball, or especially with the Super Bowl, when they do video of the starting lineups, have them like a pre-recorded thing walk up to the camera in their costume, their new costumes, announcing them that way. That would have been pretty cool too.
I'm trying to also think about I wonder if there's any importance to who's walking, the footsteps, anything like that. The white noise that we hear,
Mm-hmm.
if that has anything to do with anything. Like everything is thought about when it comes to the Russos. Nothing is just happenstance. Nothing is just, you know. So I wonder if anything like that per se matters, if you will. But we'll get some of those answers here pretty soon. If you're watching right now, what's your favorite announcement? Is it Tom Hiddleston, Sir Patrick Stewart? Who have we missed that we're surprised about? I mean, you know, I don't know if they're going to give out every single name. John Favreau is still out there in the universe as Happy Hogan. I don't know if he's going to get a chair. Um, Duke Winston was a surprise as well.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see him out there.
and Baku.
Yeah, Denai Gurita.
She hasn't been announced.
She hasn't been announced. I feel like that's a potential right there. Also, have we seen any of the younglings' names? We've not seen
The potential young Avengers. No, we haven't.
yeah, any of the young Avengers here. That might be in by intent. When you have an Avengers team defeated in the comics, you actually had to um, launch the new Avengers initiative or the Young Avengers initiative. Maybe that's the thing that we're gonna have to do for Secret Wars. Colin's in the chat saying waiting for the Howard the Duck announcement. That would be amazing.
So I guess it'd be Seth Green on the back of it.
Right? Also, no Guardians, which I think is very telling. With James Gunn heading over to DC Studios to oversee everything.
Yeah, and you assume Chris Pratt is going to be in this because they just did Electric State with him. Okay, here comes the next announcement.
Here we go, queuing up. Travis, what's going on, man? Here we go.
Nightcrawler.
What? Wow. That is huge. Alan Cumming is coming to the MCU. Arguably top 3, right? Top 3 all-time best opening sequences of any comic book or film for that matter. Not just comic book movie, but the White House Nightcrawler sequence was just incredible. Dave, your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, that's terrific. Nightcrawler. I've been a fan since the 90s of them. His power set is very neat. I mean, he has teleportation. That's a very powerful tool in their toolbox going up against Doom. I'm just really curious how they're going to incorporate the Fox characters in that universe and bring them in finally. I know we saw Monica Rambeau in the what's the name of their universe? The MCU 616. I think they actually said the name of the Fox universe. I know Colin's out there, maybe he can help us out. But bringing them in, it seems like they're going to bring in more than just Alan Cumming now, I think. I think it's pretty much going to be everyone. People said in the past that Secret Wars was going to bring in everyone. Doomsday feels like there's going to be a multitude of characters. And if it's this many for Secret Wars, or this many for Doomsday, can you just imagine what it's going to be like for Secret Wars? I mean, it's going to be crazy. But then you also have Cody Smith McPhee out there. He played Nightcrawler too. So are we going to get those counterparts? And of course, the Secret Wars storyline probably would be more or less likely the movie to do that in. But it's cool that they're bringing him in because, like you said, one of the greatest openings of all time, X2 in the White House.
You know, the only other opening I would consider better than the Nightcrawler one is Gandalf's Two Towers.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Was epic, and I know you, love that answer.
Yeah.
Travis Mitchell's in the chat, giving his own speculation here. The Eternals go to Earth. Speaking of which, no Eternals announced so far. The Eternals go to Earth to recruit the one human who's killed a Celestial. Erishim is then killed by Doom, who's God's emperor. Doom taking the powers of Eternals, just like Secret Wars. Only it's the Eternals instead of the Beyonders, like in the comic. Ooh. They can finally explain why Nightcrawler has been missing chronologically since X2. That would explain a lot. Yeah. Absolutely. I like that. There has, and like I mentioned a little bit before, with the MCU, they will take inspirations from comic storylines, but they will definitely take liberties with how they execute. And so do not be surprised if a lot of elements are actually changed or modified to suit the MCU. My theory is a little bit different when it comes to RDJ. And I know that there's been a lot of videos out there, there's been a lot of speculation. But in my opinion, and this is something that goes all the way back to San Diego Comic-Con, where Dave and I were front and center, pretty close to the front, for the Robert Downey Jr. announcement.
My arm was on the Hall H stage.
To me, the reason why you bring RDJ is because we as fans have so much invested in him, and that automatically brings our level of investment into this film and going forward. This is what I think would be wild if it was true. And I don't have any leaks. I don't have any information.
I don't either.
I don't have any insight information from insiders or whatever. This is all just me here. Because Marcus and McFeely, those two guys, those geniuses, the writing team behind Doomsday, they also understand you only bring in RDJ if you need to really flip our universe on its head. What would be worse than a Doomsday who is a variant of Tony Stark? Tell me the one thing that would be worse than a Doomsday who is a variant of Tony Stark.
I mean, when you go back to comics, I mean, Dr. Doom is made. He's someone that can rip out Thanos' spine on a whim, you know? So I think if you go by the comics, it seems like Dr. Doom is like probably one of them, but God Doom is one biggest top tier villains out there.
Oh, definitely, definitely. But you know what would be worse than, and when I mean worse, I mean like what would be more dramatic? What would the thing that would be more dramatic than having a variant of Tony Stark as Doctor Doom?
Hmm.
I'm looking at the camera now. Is if he's not a variant at all. What if this is not a variant? What if this is not a multiverse of some kind that he's from? What if something that happens between now and Fantastic Four so bad that it actually alters our own MCU 616? Goes back in time, alters the timeline, the trajectory of things. What if this actually isn't a variant at all because it is our Tony Stark? His future's been changed, whether by intent or by accident. If it's an accident, then it's actually more dramatic to me in that way. I think you don't bring back Robert Downey to just randomly throw out a villain with his face. It is so much more dramatic. It means so much more to us if you take our greatest hero, the universe's greatest hero, and you completely changed everything about him for the worse. You flipped it on its head. You flipped our entire universe. Also, because there's no connection with a variant Tony Stark to anyone. If you bring in Tom Holland's Peter Parker, he can't say, my Tony Stark in my universe cared about me. That doesn't really matter. If he says to him at some point between now and Secret Wars, you once cared about me, that has way much more gravity to it than anything else. I'm not saying this is what's happening. I'm saying this would make the most sense. If you actually took our hero and you made him a bad guy, not a variant, not a distant relative, not a future version of Tony Stark. If you literally took our Tony Stark, something changes the universe. Something probably in Fantastic Four, the first steps, that is more dramatic. That has more gravity to it by altering our Tony's life. 616.
So you're
I would
talking
love
like that
that.
butterfly effect, sliding doors type thing.
Butterfly effect. Listen, the Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, they're trying to save the world from Galactus, and the only way to do it is by setting off a chain of events or a, you know, power source so strong that it sends him into an alternate reality or an alternate dimension. But in the process, you've altered our Earth, and you've altered the Earth of 616 by accident. The ramifications of your actions sent it into a freaking spin, went out of control. Yeah, that would be
Hmm.
pretty epic if we're over here thinking this is a variant, this has nothing to do with us, they're going to fight him. But no, it would be way more dramatic if this was our Tony. And then we are yearning for him to turn into our Tony once again. We're all in if that's the case. But yeah. Let's see here. Travis Mitchell says in by only human to kill a celestial. I mean, Peter Quill. Thanos' brother recruiting him would be enough to bring at least Gamora back into the fold. One theory is it could be a world where Red Skull won in First Avenger. Ooh, the Starks are captured by Germany. Yes, yes, yes. And Tony is inevitably born in Europe, rescued by Latveria, raised as Victor Von Doom. Depending on how much they're acknowledging, Rhodey just realized he's been impersonated by a scroll for God knows how long. Yeah. Seeing the face of his best friend, someone else under it, is personal. All of this will be personal. It means way more to every character and the audience if this isn't just a random Tony out of a million infinite multiverses. It only means the most to us if this is our Tony. If they
Right.
go that way, Rhodey and Doom have a lot in common. Rhodey being the Luke Skywalker who believes his friend is alive under that mask. Ooh, you like the Star Wars reference there, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, you could build up on the old, very established relationship between Rhodey and Stark. Yeah. Don Cheadle hasn't been announced.
Mike's in the chat. Hello there, cool daddios.
Hey, how's it going, Mike?
Dad Vader, what up, bro? He says, now I'm on the right stream. What's up, cool daddios? We're going to have to, is that going to be our thing from now on? Our nickname? This is going to be the greatest movie of all time. For right now, I have no doubt that it probably will be. You brought the dream team back together. Marcus McFeely, you brought the Russos back, and now you're bringing everybody back. We have the X-Men.
Yeah, my hype level wasn't as large as it is now, just because we didn't have this casting. Now this casting announcement, it's like they're pulling out all the stops for this first Avengers movie, almost like part 1, part 2. And I guess here comes the next announcement with the music swelling here.
Here we go.
Who do you think it is?
Or no? What?
Whoa!
Yeah. Mystique is back. Mystique is in the MCU, folks. That is huge.
We also saw Rebecca Romijn at Hall H last year at San Diego Comic-Con. She was on the panel for Star Trek. And seeing her in person was amazing too. I mean, she looks terrific. And yeah, this is fantastic. I mean, there's a very retro feel here, and bringing these guys back. And of course, Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine. Everyone was like, "Oh, that ending with those credits! It was like a farewell to the Fox X-Men." No, it wasn't a farewell. They're coming back, guys. It seems like they're reassembling, coming back as older actors, but still, this is a wrinkle that I don't think anyone was expecting. I didn't hear anything about this.
No, I might have heard. I did hear some names in the last few weeks, like Patrick Stewart was a name that I heard being thrown around. I definitely didn't hear anything about Ian McKellen. Definitely didn't hear anything about Alan. But yeah, this is quite surprising. Not only is it surprising that we're getting more of these legacy X-Men characters, it's surprising that we don't have any Eternals characters. It's surprising that we don't have any Guardians characters or any of these sort of teenage young Avengers characters. Not to say that they might not be in it, but it is surprising. Xochitl Gomez, who we saw last week over in Austin. Xochitl Gomez as America Chavez. You know, Kate Bishop's character. Or these folks at?
So Dad Vader pointed out I have an echo on my audio. I think it's gone now. I was hearing it before, but now I think it's gone. I don't hear anything.
Let us know, Dave, if it's Dad Vader, if it's still there.
You guys are still an echo on my voice.
Tony,
I don't hear it anymore.
Unalive a Spider-Man. Yeah. The idea that Rhodey confronts Doom, reasoning that in every universe he finds his best friend lost in a desert and brings him home, saying this universe will be no different. Ah, I love it. This one happened, but if we get a Tom Hardy chair, I'll lose it. Tom Hardy would be huge. Travis says the last chair will
Nice.
be Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin would be huge. Dev says it's gone now. Appreciate it, sir. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Yeah, no, Josh would be absolutely huge. And I'm pretty sure that was the last question I asked him when I moderated his panel last October in San Antonio. I'm pretty sure my last question was, if they give you the call, are you coming back? Would you be nervous to do it, or are you all in? I feel like he said he would be all in to do it again. All right, let's get back to the stream, just because if these times are sort of unusual, it's like some of them happen right at 10. A few are like a little bit later than 10 minutes on the dot.
Hmm.
If you would have told me when I woke up this morning, and I was anticipating the some sort of news to happen. There's a lot of folks talking about something was happening today. Nobody knew what it was. But if you would have told me, it would have been a what is it? We're going on 4.5 hours now. 4.5 hour live stream from Marvel Studios, slowly announcing every cast member in this film. Never would have imagined that happening.
Yeah,
Cable
when
or
they
them
started doing this, I was getting mad because it was taking so long. I was like, man, I'm gonna, I'm gonna have to sleep through this or something my lunch, and then wake up and have it all be done. Just me rewinding and looking at all this, but it keeps on going, man.
This is wild. I really want to know how much money they made off this stream. There's I feel like at peak that there's probably around right now it's at 8.7 million on X. That sounds like it's the most.
Yeah, the official Marvel stream on Facebook is 5.3 thousand right now, active viewers. But when it first started, it was around 7,000, and people just started leaving.
I think I saw it as high as 100,000 on YouTube. It's probably more. I'm not even sure all of I'm aware of all the streams that are happening. The Russos, they have it on Insta right now on their own page.
Yes.
Both their pages, both their production company as
Yes.
well as theirs.
Well,
Dad Vader asked Cable or Thanos variant for Josh Brolin. Thanos.
both.
I say Thanos because
Somehow they returned.
Thanos because it's in line with what I feel the MCU needs now. And this is not me bashing the MCU. I've enjoyed what they've been putting out more than most people because I'm an adult. But the thing that we've been missing from the MCU is our emotional investment. We are not emotionally invested in what's happening in these characters. Before, every movie tied to the next movie, every end credit scene led us to the next end credit scene, and we were being pulled on a thread throughout the Infinity Saga, and that hasn't happened. We were trained to want those things, to have that connective tissue, and now that's no longer there. So we are now traversing aimlessly as fans through this current phase of the MCU, and we're not used to it. We're not used to it, and it feels like we're alone in this, and that community is dwindled some, and now we need to get back to it. So this is harnessing all of our emotional investment in what Marvel Studios has now and everything that's came before it, referring to the Fox legacy characters. So Thanos, I feel like you're gonna show us some form of Thanos if you do announce Josh Brolin. If Josh Brolin's chair is in this stream, you're going to bring back a version of Thanos that is familiar to us. If if we're talking about our MCU universe, our 616 universe going to shit, then you're going to show us our 616 Thanos version, and something happened to him that will instantly have us understand the gravity of the situation. There's jokes that Doom will just like kill Thanos where he stands. That's always been a joke or a meme that goes around. I feel like it's definitely possible. Thanos has died in other alternate universes that we've seen that we know of.
Yeah, what if?
And in What If?
Yeah, Vision
Look,
just splits them in half.
if we see a Thanos chair, if we see a Josh Brolin chair, not Thanos chair, if we see a Josh Brolin chair, then yeah, I fully believe that it's going to not only be Thanos, but it'll be our Thanos. It'll be our 616 Thanos. When I really hope this ends up being true, if our universe goes to hell, then we're going to be wondering what are the ramifications of that? Where are they now? And we're going to start doing a Rolodex of characters in our head. What does that mean for Clint Barton? What does that mean for this character, that character? Are we not getting Brie Larson, the most powerful Avenger? There's so many. There could be so many names left. This is wild. During the All Is Lost moment, we get an Apollo Creed Rocky 3 entrance telling the new team that it'll take a conqueror to kill one, training the new team to take on the new guy who killed him. That's what we're gonna need. Apollo Creed.
So you think we're
Oh,
gonna
shot
need Thanos?
he says. Say what?
So Thanos is going to join the X-Men Avengers team? Is that what he's trying to say?
Potentially. Thanos versus Cable.
Whoa.
Make it happen. Last saga ended with Tony defeating Thanos, reversing that with Thanos leading the Avengers to take on Doom would be perfect symmetry. The idea of Thanos beating Downey being what gets cheers. You're thinking correctly, Travis. You are thinking of the potential. Whether you're right or wrong does not matter, but that is the key, is that we are using elements of what we already know to lead us into this next phase. That's why you're bringing back the entire Legacy X-Men team. We know them. We are here for them. We are invested. You can be positively invested or you could be negatively invested in characters. You can have characters that you hate so much, but you need to see what they do. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Walking Dead, one of the best TV villains of all time. We were so invested in him as a villain. We needed to see what he did until he did something so egregious. Half the fandom turned off The Walking Dead once he killed Glenn. But that's what I'm talking about. Leading up to that, it was must-watch TV. You had to see what the villain does. Now you bring our hero, you tear him down, you flip the script, and then you also bring in the universe's greatest villain, and now he must be an ally to us. This is probably why they put him in the What If animated series, was to sort of test out the waters. How does Thanos look when he's not trying to wipe out half of all existence? Halle Berry, Hugh Jackman, James Marsden. Let's go ahead and get the full team back. I'm down.
Here we go. X-Men theme.
Alan or Hugh? Alan or Hugh? No whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
I hear footsteps. I guess footsteps to put the chairs down?
Yeah.
And my echo's back, I think, yeah.
James Marsden, baby!
Oh,
Cyclops.
Cyclops. Wow.
Cyclops
Interesting.
is back.
Can you hit the fast forward button, Ted, so we can find out who's in?
right?
I think there was a bit of worry on the fans' part that Doomsday was just going to be the new team of young Avengers trying to maybe like be the main team, but it feels like with this announcement that's not going to be the case at all. We're going to get a lot of the old school people that we love, that we've adored for all these decades, really. So yeah, Doomsday is going to be a huge move. It's going to make a lot of money.
Trying to. All right. Cyclops is now joining the MCU. What say you out there, fans? Looks like we're getting everybody. This is wild. There he is. I was trying to get this photo up. He is back. And let me get to the chat real quick, and then we'll start talking about it. How many more names do y'all think are left to review? I'm guessing about 10 more. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's 30 by the end of this. I really would not be surprised. Missed most of the stream. Any characters that got knocked out for the long sleepy sleep returning? Yeah. I mean, I feel like there should be some. I was Ghost part of the snap? Oh gosh.
Mm.
Paul Rudd. No, Paul. Well, no, Paul Rudd was trapped in another dimension. Paul Rudd was announced. Man, it's a good question. A lot of the characters that died have not been announced. Haven't seen Tom Holland.
I want to say Florence Pugh's character.
I don't remember if she was or not, but you could be right.
Yeah, she got snapped, I believe. She was like in a restroom or something.
Well, the cast announcement started off with the main MCU characters and have now shifted to the X-Men. So I'm guessing the remainder are going to be multiverse characters from previous movies. I like that theory.
Yeah.
I also think we will get a couple, at least one, of somebody who's not on our radar whatsoever. Not a legacy character, not somebody who's been rumored or teased. I feel like there has to be at least one name of somebody who's not tied to any past or current, for that matter, Marvel project. I would love that. Travis says this would piss people off, but what if the movie is set during the snap? When the Avengers who were snapped disappeared, they go to Battleworld, and when they return, they have no memory of it. That would piss a lot of people off.
Yeah, I don't think they do that.
That's the big cheat, but kind of what they did in the original Secret Wars, with none of them remembering what happened. Not the way they'll go, but it'd be unexpected. And I like unexpected. If Doomsday is primarily people from other movies outside the MCU, that would be pretty ballsy. It also
Mhm.
could be something where you're not, and I'm not saying I'm okay with this. It could be a situation where there are there are multiple fronts battling the forces, if you will, either of Doomsday or multiversal forces. Like, we actually might be with the X-Men team because they're combating against the antagonist on their front. Meanwhile, the MCU heroes are battling them from a different front. Dad Vader says, wait, they announced Scott? You bet your ass they did. And now that just leaves Hallie and Hugh from the OG X-Men team, right? I think so. Where's my boy Tyler? Sabretooth.
Also, Famke Janssen too.
Hey, why am I not even thinking about Jean Grey right now? This is a lot.
This is wild. I didn't think we are gonna get this many Fox X-Men in Doomsday. This is kind of expected, but kind of, I don't know, breadcrumbed out a little bit because we got Beast at the end of Marvels. Of course, all the talk of Hugh Jackman coming back. He hasn't been announced though. And I think all the speculation up till this point was without the Fox X-Men. So this is going to probably, I don't know, will it change everything? I think that's the big question because initially I think we all had our like preconceived notions of what Doomsday was going to be. I think especially with the leaked concept art, it looked like it was a whole like battle world scenario that got Emperor Doom, tricked everyone into thinking what the reality was not the actual reality.
Yeah.
And of course they showed the whole dinner table scene with the Young Avengers, and I don't know. Maybe that was like a ruse or something. That would be an old switcheroo type thing that they did. The Dad Haters is that a work call? Travis Mitchell says, in the original story, the Avengers, X-Men, and villains are largely separate across battle world. It's likely be structured like that. I think, yeah, that's a popular assumption, of course, with the concept art that leaked, that battle world is going to take have a huge part to play. But I would think more so in the Secret Wars Avengers movie and not Doomsday, unless they spread it between the two films. Yeah, I don't think anyone has an idea when this is actually going to end. It's already almost 3:00 Central Time, and
You hear
this
me okay?
started. Yeah. What time did this start, Ted?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. And it's almost 3 p.m. Dion says 26 chairs left. Okay.
The fall of the 11th says next announcement definitely going to be either Storm, Jean, or Wolverine. I like it. Can't imagine the script will be easy to write for all 50 plus characters. Which is why we said it's got to be Marcus and McFeely, the guys behind Infinity War and Endgame, and they also wrote Winter Soldier, if I'm not mistaken.
And we all thought that Storm was going to be in Deadpool Wolverine, but she wasn't. And then we saw Halle Berry at Fantastic Fest, and I think someone asked her a question about returning as Storm, and she acted like, I don't know anything. I would love to do it, but I haven't been contacted.
Well, I think she saw Deadpool and Wolverine, and she also commented like, "Hey, you're bringing all those guys back. That would have been fun if I would have got the call as well." If they announce Jared from Subway, all bets are off, Travis. I hope it doesn't end. Will likely end when we get to RDJ. Yeah, and if you're probably just joining us, I said don't give us a chair for RDJ. It's cool because they gave Paul Rudd like an Ant-Man sized chair, which was a nice touch. Don't give us a chair with Robert's name on it. Give us Doom's throne, or more importantly, show us Robert in costume. Let this be the day we see Doom for the first time before he gets leaked, before we watch Fantastic Four. Give us Victor Von Doom by the end of this event.
All right, I have the updated character list so far: Thor, Invisible Woman, Captain America, Sam Wilson for Bucky, Shuri, Ant-Man, John Walker, Namor, The Thing, Shang-Chi, Yelena, Beast, Sentry, New Falcon, Human Torch, Red Guardian, M'Baku, Ghost, Loki, Professor X, Magneto, Nightcrawler, Mystique, and Cyclops. That is the current lineup.
How many is that so far?
24.
This is like the best NFL draft day ever.
Yeah, this is a lot like a draft. That's a lot of sports references on today's podcast.
I wish we had known what this was going to be. I would have done like a fantasy draft amongst the team. We would have all picked characters for points. Oh man, it would have been amazing. I hope I see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire on these chairs. If you don't, know they will be in Secret War, and that's not me like spoiling anything. Like that's just what we all think. Drew says,
"Oh, Deadpool!"
You hear something?
The Deadpool music from Deadpool and Wolverine.
You should have played Madonna.
Here we go.
No way!
Yeah.
Won!
Nice.
We won! That's it. It's all over, folks. We've won. Oh my god. That is incredible.
He has dropped a lot of weight. And now we know why.
That is incredible. Right now, our original member, Jericho, is in a corner sobbing, tears of joy. Oh my gosh.
This is terrific.
There's a echo, but I think I switched off the. It's because we're watching the stream and listening to it as well. It's amazing. Okay. That is amazing. Wow. Yes. Imagine they announced Josh Brolin as Cable. We talked. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that. I feel like I'm leaning towards Thanos more, but why wasn't Patrick's chair a wheelchair?
Yeah, they did it for Ant-Man. They gave him a little chair.
I'm skeptical and slightly worried seeing Pedro, the 3 Spider-Men, and Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know if we're gonna get Guardians. It just feels like Guardians
is kind of done.
Galaxy. Yeah, they wrapped it up.
Mm-hmm.
They told them they're going their separate ways.
Yeah,
they have an easy out. If you don't bring back any of them, you have an easy out because of that. Jen says, I'm proud of Joseph Quinn. X-Men for the win.
Wow.
So 26 to 36 left, apparently. Rumored numbers between 50 and 60 characters. My God. I'll be funny because when the stream is over, it'll be a 50-second clip. Hugh? No Hugh. Yeah, Channing Tatum. Give him his flowers, man. I want to see Doom take out Andrew Spider-Man. It was also a cop-out that they didn't kill one of those guys. Not to say that they deserved it. I'm just saying that would have been extremely dramatic if they would have done so. Gambit! It's Gambit! Gambit! Travis says, I just yelled, no! But he did it in a good way. He's about to make a name for himself. Yes, he is. I'm so happy he's coming back. it was it was perfect for what they needed for Deadpool and Wolverine. If you dial down the comical nature of it, give us a little bit more of that X-Men 97 Gambit attitude, then we're all right there with you, Channing. You can do it, my friend. Go for it. Oh my God! Going back to that deleted Gambit epilogue scene, it looks like the TVA may have given him a home in the X-Men universe, which is kind of wholesome. Wouldn't that be something? He's been living out his days with Sir Patrick Stewart's Professor X and the X-Men team. Wait, what if this means Wesley Snipes' Blade again? Honestly, I nothing would surprise me regarding any sort of Blade announcement. At least where's Tom? From what I've heard, Tom is a big deal in Doomsday. Does he? Is he going to be a big deal in Doomsday? Or do again, this is a two-parter, right? It's really Avengers like Doomsday A and B. Or I feel like the way Infinity War and Endgame were directly linked, they could have been right after another. These two films are going to be directly linked. They could be right after another. If Tom's not a big deal in this one, it's because he needs to be a big deal in the next one. How many of these folks are not going to make it out of this movie? That's a bigger question.
You know what? I mean, it makes sense with their ages. Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, they go out like heroes, and this maybe will be the final hurrah. They do like a self-sacrifice thing to. That's the only way to beat Doctor Doom, and then they go out like that.
I love this for Channing.
Yeah, this is wonderful. And going back to that comment about Tom Holland, yeah, I think that was the assumption that with his like story thread, nobody knows his identity, but of course he knows everybody still. And to see Tony Stark's face on a different character, a villain, that shock that he would have, and everyone's shocked that knew Tony Stark, that saw him do the snap and save the world and bring everyone back. That would be a tremendous story point to see. And I think that's just the grand assumption there. But maybe we don't get a Tom Holland chair. Maybe they hide the fact that he's in the movie. Maybe that's one of the big surprises. I know a lot of people are saying this is all spoilers now, but I mean, like Ted said, they want to kind of get out in front before maybe so they don't have to do the big cloak thing, you know, all these actors in the it used to be the Georgia Heat. Now I think they're shooting in England for Doomsday. So maybe if they're shooting in the summertime, they don't have to be like dripping sweat. And they don't have to hide the fact, okay, well, Channing Tatum's in England. What is he doing? Is he in the film? Obviously, now we know Gambit is going to be in the film. And we get Gambit in live action again.
Yeah, Gambit
He
in
just
live
did a
action again.
commercial.
Did
I
he?
was telling you a couple months ago that he looks a lot like more svelte now. It looks like he lost like actual like muscle mass too.
I mean, it's his dream role. You
Yeah,
you either you either go all in or don't even bother.
yeah. Total shock, total fan favorite from Deadpool and Wolverine. I think universally we wanted to see him back as Gambit, and we know how much this means to him. That he's going to put 100% into this character. Now the question is, how much screen time is he going to get?
We'll do the Boss Logic version of Gambit here. It is the best. There's something wrong with it.
I like this moving background though, going through the clouds. It's almost like that first Infinity Gauntlet announcement thing that they did for Infinity War when you travel through the clouds, the
Yeah.
celestial clouds there, and then they reveal the stones and the gauntlet.
All right, that's not gonna work out after all.
There it is. He looks that skinny now. He has lost weight. So that's essentially how he's going to look.
Channing Tatum is back, folks. Not only is he back, the OG X Men team is back. We still got Hugh. We still got Famke. We still got Halle Berry that have not been announced. If you're just joining us, we've already had some major surprises. Sir Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Rebecca Romaine, um, all massive that they're bringing all these legacy characters back. It's pretty huge.
Okay, let me ask you this. Who do you think's going to be next, and who do you want to see next?
Um, gosh. Mm-mm-mm, mm-mm. Do they give us Sabretooth? We don't need Sabretooth, do we? Probably not.
Tyler Mane or Liev Schreiber?
That's what I was wondering about. If
Yeah.
you gave us Tyler's version, he deserved it. He was great in it. Now, do you bring back Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth? I'm not really sure. No, I think I don't know. I don't know who's going to be next, but we're still waiting on Hugh, Tom Holland, RDJ. We assume is last.
It feels like they're jumping around a little bit too when they announced Shuri and M'Baku, like kind of far apart from each other, and also the Fantastic Three to this point with Vanessa Kirby, and then they skipped like 4 or 5 people, then Evan Moss Bacharach. So man, I really hope Daphne Keene is
Yes,
announced.
that would be huge. Or does she sort of have an easy out as well? She lives
Or does
happily
she
ever
become a
after.
part of the Young Avengers too?
Hey, I'm not gonna hate that idea. I like that. More of a Beyond Spider Verse idea, but having all the redeemed Spider-Man villains from No Way Home coming back to help Holland would be epic, including James Franco's Harry.
Oh my god!
Bro, we haven't even thought about any of the Sony characters, Sony Marvel characters, Spider-Man, Spider-Verse characters.
So what you're saying is the stream ends at midnight tonight.
Pretty much. I'm so excited knowing they're filming as we speak. Probably not right now, specifically. I need to see Chris Evans on one of these chairs for an evil Hydra Captain America variant. I'm delusional, but fingers crossed. Holland is about to be killed. Then we see a winged figure flying towards us. Someone reports behind Doom that isn't Nightcrawler, revealing Morbius, throwing him in the air as Vulture nails him.
Hmm.
Do we get Ben Foster's what was his character?
Angel.
Angel? Teleports, not reports. I can just feel for a fact they're going to pull off another portal thing, but for multiverses. It's they gotta have that moment, that big moment again. Are we getting a live action version of the running shot from the X-Men cartoon?
I would
My
love that. I
my
would love
God.
that so much. That would make me cry.
That's where the X-Men and Tatum appears. Leave Schreiber's Sabretooth. Yes, says Travis. What happened to Pedro in Fantastic Four? I need answers. I've seen all the rest, but not him specifically. Yeah. What would fans think if we get through this and you don't see those names that we anticipate? We don't see Pedro. We don't see Tom. We don't see Hugh. We don't see where's Clint Barton? Where's Rhodey? Where's Brie Larson?
Where's Wade Wilson?
Where's Wade Wilson? A cheeky thing they could do after all the trailers are shown is just having the non-announced cast members just walk by eating donuts.
That's
Donuts,
true.
shawarma, good
Fish and
number of
chips.
things. Fish and chips. Oh man. Denai Gurira. We've not seen her name. We've not seen any Guardians. We've not seen. Yeah.
I hear some
Uh,
music. Very happy music.
who is it? Let's see.
This is not any music I'm familiar with. Fantastic Four. Pedro movie? Yes.
Yeah, buddy.
Man, it took a while to announce. Everyone's starting to get worried.
Pedro Pascal confirmed for Avengers Doomsday. Pedro, who quick sort of announcement regarding Pedro, if he wasn't already known to be the coolest person on the planet, this is going to solidify that. He was in South by Southwest for the Last of Us season 2 panel. Sometime after all of his responsibilities were done, Pedro starts walking down the middle of Austin, the middle of downtown, which is Congress Street, and he just starts walking to wherever he's going. But he walked for at least 2 miles. The reason why I know that is because fans were taking pictures with him, and you could see the signs and the buildings in the background. It's like, oh wow, they took a photo by this place, and an hour later, he's taking a photo 3 miles south of that location in front of another building that I'm familiar with. So yeah, Pedro was just walking around, not nonchalantly taking photos with fans throughout downtown Austin. And yes, I am disappointed that I was not one of those fans. But congrats, Pedro, for just living your absolute best life. Reed probably dies at the end of Fantastic Four. Not so fast. I'd be slightly annoyed and surprised we won't get Spider-Man in this movie. But depends on what happens in Spider-Man 4. Oh the Marvel prayers. My Marvel prayers have been answered. I have a feeling Tom won't be much in Doomsday. I have a feeling he won't be able to be seen as much in Doomsday because Spider-Man 4 is being filmed this year as well. Yeah, and it wouldn't be terrible. We could have Tom be the main reason why the good guys win in Secret Wars. He might be the reason that they take over or that the day is won. So it's still giving him a platform and giving him the spotlight that he so rightly deserves in that situation. Man, it is 3:15 our time. This stream from Marvel has been going on for over 5 hours. Never would have thought. Never would have thought that would be a thing. If you're just joining us, Loki is back. Tom Hiddleston is making his return. We might finally find out why Thor was crying. This
But we
announcement,
need Wade Wilson for that, though.
that's true. This announcement by Marvel, which is also streaming on X, has reached 9.7 million people. That is a truly incredible feat for Marvel Studios.
I really hope we get the Council of Reeds. I hope they bring back John Krasinski. I hope we get Ian Gruffold in there. and maybe a few other names at some point.
I'm gonna see how long um, we can keep streaming for because a monsoon has just erupted outside of my window.
Oh my gosh.
So if something happens to my video, you will know it is due to the elements. Folks in the chat, who do you feel like is still yet to be announced that we will get? I know Josh Brolin's name has been thrown around a little bit. Um, Tom Holland might be towards the end. RDJ is undoubtedly the final name that they're going to reveal. We still haven't seen a handful of X Men Legacy characters: Halle Berry, Famke Johnson, um, Hugh's Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, and will they dive into any Sony Marvel characters? Which is very curious.
What font are these names in? It almost looks kind of like the Jurassic Park font.
You could be right, sir. You could be right. Spider-Man could enter like his Captain Marvel did in Endgame Final Battle. Yes,
Well,
just like him, just like Thor in Infinity War. Oh, you guys are so screwed now. Thoughts on Black Panther 3 being confirmed for 28 release. Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri, says there's a lot going on, and I'm excited for it. Hawkeye, don't know his name, and Tom, that's all I want, and maybe Wolverine. Travis says, make 5 guesses who the next person will be. Go, Dave.
Daphne Keene, Denzel Washington, Tom Cruise, Keanu Reeves, Michael Fassbender. Is that 5?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Hugh, RDJ, Tom, Holland, um, oh my gosh, who's his girlfriend? What's her name? MJ.
Zendaya?
Zendaya. I don't know if that's a stretch to say, but Zendaya. And let's go with Deadpool himself, Wade Wilson. That guy.
Ryan Reynolds. And I mean, Sadie Sink is also out there. We don't know who she's playing.
Well, is that confirmed or is that rumor?
I think it's a rumor, but I think it's being taken as gospel at this point. So this Black Widow question here from Dion. Scarlett Johansson was asked on a red carpet if she's coming back, and she's like, nope, she's dead. Not coming back. She's dead. She did her thing. She made her sacrifice. She's not coming back. So, I mean, maybe that's definite. Maybe that's absolute. But then again, I mean, you never know. I mean, they give her enough money. I mean, she's probably coming back.
I wouldn't be surprised if she came back. I also think Marvel needs an easy out for a lot of characters. You have an easy out for the Guardian characters. If you don't bring them back, no one's going to attack you for it. If you don't bring back Scarlet Witch, then people will understand.
Yeah. I feel like Chris Pratt's going to be one of the next chairs here. He just worked with the Russo brothers. He's on Earth with his dad. So
What
he
about
is half of a god.
what about any of the television characters? I mean, you assumed one day those two worlds would collide, but you have Echo out there, you have Hawkeye out there, you have Charlie Cox's Daredevil.
He was in
When do
Spider-Man
they get
3.
to see the big screen? Let's go ahead and give them something. Watch Finn Jones be announced. That would be funny. Tom Holland, Hugh Jackman, Chris Evans, RDJ, Ryan Reynolds.
I mean, Harry Styles is a possibility too.
Is he? I feel like they forgot about him. They forgot about him, and they forgot about
Patton Oswalt.
Kit Harington. Kit Harington, that poor guy. Everybody gets roped in to do a Marvel movie, and nobody asks if they should. She's doing an Andrew Garfield act after his thing has made me paranoid on when actors say they're not in the movies. Yeah, everybody's pulling an Andrew going forward. It's interesting how Red Skull and Loki, both beings teleported via the Tesseract, kind of end up the same way. Villains turned sage like guardians.
That
Yeah.
is interesting. That's a
If
great observation.
Harry Styles is in the movie, you will not be seeing me at the theater when it comes out. I mean, what if he's only in it for like 10 seconds? What if it's just a high and by type situation? What if they kill Harry Styles? Then will you go see it? Because you actually would love seeing that,
Jeez.
wouldn't you? Wouldn't you, Dion? Wouldn't you? Oh, man. Marvel's stream on X has reached 9.9 million viewers. If you're just watching us now, there's a few events going on this week that we could probably talk about. More Phenomenal Expo. If you're a Power Rangers fan, More Phenomenal Expo is going down this weekend. Tremendous event, March 29th and 30th at the Wonderland of the Americas Mall, which is 4522 Fredericksburg Road. Free parking, free to get in, and you'll just need tickets to get autographs and take photos. But all of these tremendous Power Ranger characters will be in attendance. And that's Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're going to have some folks on the ground doing interviews, and our own That Guy Tommy will be hosting some panels of the characters. Go check them out. For more information, please visit More Phenomenal on social media. Man, what a day.
There is a rumor out there that Doctor Strange will not be in Doomsday. I've heard. Which to me, it's like Doctor Doom has that mystical aspect to him. I mean, having Doctor Strange there would probably be important. Here we go. Here's the next one. Could it be Josh Brolin? This is old school Avengers team.
Sam Jackson?
Sam Jackson, yeah. Chris Evans, maybe?
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner, possibly? Who is it, Ted?
It started off very Avengers-like, and I don't know where it's going now. Travis, love the ninja reference.
All right, I hear something happening. You're like a blowtorch.
Uh-oh. We're having movement.
Oh, the
We're
door's
having
open.
movement.
Oh my gosh, what's happening?
Nobody move. This is it. We're gonna get doomed. Come on out, Doom.
Somebody's walking through that door.
Come on, Doom. That looks like a very ominous figure.
Yep, RDJ. That's it.
Not bad. This is brand new music, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with the end part of that tag there. But I think what we have to talk about now is the omissions to the lineup. I mean, there's no Spider-Man. There's no Star-Lord. There's no Chris Pratt. There's no Chris Evans. Are they saving some surprises? I guess that's kind of the big question now.
RDJ, we saw the man, the myth, the legend himself. He is the final name, the final announcement. A 5-hour and 28-minute live stream has concluded with RDJ. Pretty epic. I'm going to see something.
How many more like borrows / rents from Sony does Marvel have with Spider-Man? Is it one or two more? I think it's two more times that they could actually use Tom Holland as Spider-Man. And we all kind of figured it'd be Doomsday and Secret Wars, but I guess Spider-Man 4 would be one of those uses because it's a shared, right? Is that the way it works?
I think so, yeah. You know what? I had missed. Oh, maybe not. I had missed the very beginning of the stream. It actually ended up being that same door opening,
Yeah.
and somebody had walked out to put Chris Hemsworth chair down. I didn't join fast enough, and I had missed that. But yeah, there you have it. How many names is that now? Oh wow! Look at this shot.
Yeah. There's a new Instagram post out there with all the chairs lined up and Robert Downey Jr. standing next to his chair.
I'm on it. Boom.
Yeah, such a interesting lineup of characters, man. I don't think anyone. This is like an NCAA bracket, and I think everyone's bracket would have been busted on this one. There's no way you could predict accurately these characters showing up.
27 names in all, and some big surprises, and also some omissions that are very surprising. No Tom Holland, no Hugh Jackman. Um, we were
No
surprised to get
Benedict
everything.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah, no Benedict.
No Benedict
Um,
Wong.
there you go. Jeremy Renner, nowhere to be found. Brie Larson, nowhere to be found. Any of these sort of teenage characters, the Kate Bishops, the America Chavez, played by Xochitl Gomez, none of those were announced. So very peculiar lineup. Who's the biggest name? I'm gonna say the biggest surprise, even though we're getting all of these legacy X-Men characters. For me, I still feel like Loki is the biggest surprise. Well, who's your biggest surprise out of all this?
I didn't think Ian McKellen would come back. I thought they'd maybe go younger with Fassbender, but maybe Fassbender is the next one. But it's just an interesting assortment of characters here. I mean, you try and think about what kind of storyline. I mean, is this just like all hell breaks loose and these are just the characters that are kind of on the forefront? I mean,
I
what is the story? I think that's the next big question now. How do these characters mesh and interact and fit in the grand story that is Doomsday?
I have a wild theory. Read, you have that list of names, right? Still,
I got the picture.
read the list of names if you have it,
Yeah, let me bring it back up here.
or or if not, I can also.
Yeah, I already jumped out, but let me see if I can bring it up.
All right, let me do it. I got it right here. Chris Hemsworth, Anthony Mackie, Vanessa Kirby, Paul Rudd, Florence Pugh, Tenoch Huerta, Simu Liu, Sebastian Stan, Letitia Wright, Iban Moss Backrack, Kelsey Grammer, Louis Pullman, Danny Ramirez, Joseph Quinn, David Harbour, Winston Duke, Hannah John Kamen, Tom Hiddleston, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Alan Cumming, Rebecca Romaine, James Marsden, Channing Tatum, Pedro Pascal, Robert Downey Jr. You know what this name sort of feels like to me?
What's that?
This feels like the, I don't mean to sound so dramatic here. This feels like the kill list.
Hmm.
The caption Marvel put out with this photo is "It all leads to doom."
Hmm.
And if you gave me this list and said to me, spoiler alert, this is the list of characters that will not make it to the end of Doomsday, I would have said, you know what, I believe you. Chris Hemsworth, he's got to want to move on by now. I believe that. There's a lot of folks on these names, all these X-Men legacy characters. This is like a last hurrah. You know what I mean?
You know what? I lied. Ian McKellen is not the most shocking to me. The most shocking to me is Rebecca Romaine. Whoever thought that? That I think is the most shocking name.
What an event. What do we say about this event? You
It was
think
fun.
that it was. Well, I was going to ask if do you think it was effective?
I think as far as like the marketing goes, I think the fact that you have a lot of Thunderbolts in here, the Thunderbolt movie is going to get a little boost maybe from this. Fans are going to see that this movie is actually important, and you probably want to see these characters before you see them in Doomsday. Um, the fact that all these actors now don't have to like hide and like be all secretive and lie to the fact that they're not in Doomsday when they're all going to be in England in the same area. But yeah, the shocking aspect is there's no Tom Holland, and he's from England, and they're shooting in England. Maybe they're holding that as a surprise. I mean, I wouldn't think so because I mean they pretty much denounced everyone, but you never know. They're probably going to hold them for Secret Wars, but yeah, this is a big list of names, and a lot of X-Men from the Fox universe are up in here. And I'm just like wondering now, what is the story? How did the Russos see their way in with these X-Men characters? I mean, Kelsey Grammer, James Marsden, Rebecca Romijn, Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart. We didn't get Halle Berry, which was kind of surprising. Then, of course, Channing Tatum. That was a great surprise. I think we all cheered for that one. No Ryan Reynolds, no Hugh Jackman.
No Ryan, Hugh, Chris Evans, nowhere to be found. Were the rumors true? Were they all just rumors? What exactly were we told, or what is meant to happen regarding Chris Evans? Mark Ruffalo. We have not said his name all day.
Yeah.
Brie Larson, Amon Villani, Tiana Paris, Charlie Cox. What about those guys?
Haley Steinfeld. Yeah.
Jeremy Renner. Very curious that there's some names out here that we might have expected to see, but no.
But this is very much the Infinity War to Secret Wars Endgame here. So this is the it's a big build up to Secret Wars, but I think Secret Wars might have twice or more characters than what you saw here today. This was a lot. This was very drawn out, and of course it ends with RDJ. But shocking additions here to Doomsday, to say the least. Yeah, this is just hyped me up even more. I mean, with this announcement, there was something of like, I saw a few TikToks last night about a big announcement today, and some people are saying, well, this is going to dwarf the Doomsday announcement, which I'm not sure if it dwarfs it because it was such a shock, and actually being there at Hall H witnessing it, I think that was like the bigger shock because, of course, we had Deadpool Wolverine come out. Channing Tatum as Deadpool, or as not as Deadpool, as Gambit, of course. He's coming back, almost like a retroactive addition to the X-Men universe. So I'm way more hyped. What do you guys think in the chat? Is this got you way more hyped? Does this kind of quell your fears a little bit about maybe we're not going to get as many stars in Doomsday? Apparently, it looks like we are. And is this all the stars we're going to get? I think a lot of people maybe thought that there was going to be like a young Avengers element to the whole thing. Doesn't seem like there is now. It seems like the grown-ups are still going to play. So I'm happy with it. It's the lead up to Secret Wars. Secret Wars is one of the big, huge stories. And the Russo said it at Hall H. It's their favorite Marvel comic storyline. And I'm eager to see what they do with it. I mean, they've probably been thinking about this stuff since they were kids, and this was pretty much their goal to see this through. And we all saw Infinity War and Endgame, man. They knocked out of the park there. So they got the pedigree, they got the experience, they got the writers. I'm hyped. This is going to be fantastic. And Doomsday comes out next year, right, Ted?
Yes, 2026. So yeah, I was correct. Whatever the storm going on outside my window right now, it's completely knocked out the internet in my area. So yeah, here we are now using my phone to make this work. Let's see here. I know we talked about the names we didn't see, and we talked a little bit about um the movie coming out. Let's see here. Oh, all in all, super effective marketing tactic to have the entire world watching your live stream throughout the day. I think it was extremely effective. Kudos to Marvel Studios. Good on them for putting Robert Downey himself at the end there. He looked a little different, right? Wasn't just me who noticed that. Hairstyle was a little different.
Mm, I didn't notice that.
Need to go back and check it out. I feel like his
If you go to the
whole
Instagram page, they have his picture standing next to the chair there. So there's an account that has they're talking to James Marsden on the blue carpet for Sonic, and of course he's saying no, I won't be in anything in the future, and of course Cyclops is
oops.
back.
Dun 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 dun.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking specifically at his hair once they roll the camera up. No, I mean he has. I
I
mean,
felt
it
like it
looks
looked.
like a Tony Stark haircut to me.
I felt
Maybe a
like it
little
looked a little
grayer.
shorter. A lot grayer. I
Well,
felt like it
shorter
looked a
from the
little
last week
shorter.
from the time we saw him in person. Yes,
Yes,
he had
I
long
think
hair for
so.
whatever reason. Yeah, and then of course we
Alrighty.
saw him at the Oscars, giving the Oscar to Kieran Culkin.
Yeah. Well, uh,
Looks like we lost Ted again. Yeah, so the internet is just freaking out right now. Every other post I see is about, and it looks like every star is posting their chair. And yeah, I think one of the characters that we're not talking about a lot is Shang-Chi, Simu Liu. He's going to be back, and he has a cool power set. He's very much OP'd here with those rings. So you're going to need a character of his caliber. And I heard on another podcast someone mention, what if Shang-Chi taught Peter Parker how to fight? But of course, there's no Tom Holland mention. And yeah, every news outlet is going crazy. Coming, Grammer and Romaine join the MCU in Avengers Doomsday.
well, a monsoon has hit my neighborhood, and now everything's falling apart technology wise. So I feel like it's a good reason to end the stream here. Kudos to Marvel Studios putting on today's event. Incredible, over 10 million views on X throughout the stream. Major achievement. We had a blast. Thanks everybody for joining. All your comments, your theories, all of it's spectacular. Again, if you're in the San Antonio area, We will be out at More Phenomenal Expo this weekend. I'm also doing an autographed Jason David Frank San Diego Comic Con exclusive on Instagram.
I think we
Go
could see it over your
to
left shoulder there.
go to that's actually mine, and
Oh,
you
okay.
don't want that one. That one says Ted on it. But yeah, go to the first pinned video on Instagram to find out how to enter to win. We have movie passes that we're going to be giving away very soon. Stay tuned for that. A lot of reviews are we're still writing from South by Southwest. Um, what else? Dropping a lot of interviews. Everybody's been really busy with team. Everybody on the team has been really busy. I'm going to be talking about the Bill Murray concert. Dave probably joined me on that one. We attended a concert with Bill Murray. Yes, that is a sentence I am saying, and it's one that I never thought I would say. But Bill Murray put on a performance with a really great sort of bluesy type band known as the Blood Brothers. Great show. We had a lot of fun. I have a lot of stories, and I had a chance to meet the legend himself. So more to come on that. Hey, everybody! Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time for the Kansas City Geeks. My name is Ted, aka Steady. Joining me on this Marvel casting live stream for Avengers Doomsday is the one and only David.
See you later, guys. It's been fun.
Absolutely. We will talk to you guys soon.